Tubers, welcome back for another adventure. This poor all-terrain vehicle hasn't been out in so long a tree fell on it. So here we have it, 1984 Honda ATC200S, and this is probably the most mint condition unit I have. It's got the recoil with the compression release, no welded, the seat's in real nice shape. The plastic's in nice shape, except for a couple of Frankenstein scars. The gas tank's real pretty, not dented in, right? Stickers are really nicely intact. Front fender looks good, right? Suspension's good. Headlights there, but it's out of the bucket. That could be straightened around. Yeah, this one's really in pretty nice condition. If I recall, it might have an on-off switch that's a little bit fussy. It likes to turn itself off. And the last time I rode it, you'll see it's got the bypass to put an auxiliary gas tank on it. Last time I rode it, the problem with it was the carburetor was flooding and dripping all over the place. I really like using this as kind of a donut machine. Having them out in the snow is nice. It cleans the tires and wheels up and all that. So why don't we see if we can't get this rig started again, right? Nothing bad has happened to the motor. It still turns over. Carburetor hasn't seized. Anyway, let's pull off the seat, yank the carburetor, see what our problem is. They are hard to find with the airbox intact. It'd be one better if the toolkit was there. Let's hope we don't see mousy up. The air cleaner is missing. I'm going to want to get the carburetor off. To do that, you got to pull the air cleaner first. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Get that loose. It kind of goes back and then up and out. So I'm going to do that now. Check it out. Carburetor's out. Looks like it's an OEM one. I still got the cable ties on this guy. Still got the bushings for the gas tank, right? So the gas tank doesn't clang around. You know, should you ever find one of these in this condition, you should try to keep it that way. I'm often asked about rebuilding the recoil starter such that the compression release works. My problem with that is I so rarely get one that has all its parts. Normally I get it and the compression release is gutted, so that the only thing that's there is the recoil. And all those pieces to redo the compression release are not necessarily available from Honda, and they haven't been copied. So you got to kind of buy them on the aftermarket one at a time. Generally speaking, I don't bother with that. If I get a good recoil with everything intact, I normally put it aside if it's not a very good bike and just put one of the non-rebuilt recoils, one of the non-compression release recoils on there. Anyway, let's get this carburetor downstairs and see what its problem is. If you blow into it, if you just listen, you can hear air going in. And if you turn it upside down, right, and you blow into it, you don't hear anything. So the float seems to be going up and down. I'm not quite sure why this was flooding. So let's get it downstairs and check, maybe make an adjustment on it. Let's see what kind of trouble we have in here. Well, actually looks pretty good. Well, I'm going to get the pin out and take it apart. This choke really is not or this float really is not adjustable. Right, it's plastic. It doesn't have a little tab to be bent. So, I don't know. Let's get it apart and see what it looks like. I think you guys could see that, right? I have quite a bit of powder there. If you look at that, you can see there's some debris on it. So I'm going to give it a good cleaning. I'll pull the jets and show you what they look like. Though it didn't seem to have a problem with that, but I'm hoping just a good cleaning cleans it up. The bowl actually doesn't look too horrible. Problem one is once you start getting that powder, it seems that you can never really get completely rid of it. Here's what the jets look like. The idle jet. If you can still see through the center. Doesn't look good. And here's the main. Oh, some of those are still open. Yeah, and there's still some light through the center. And you can see that's the idle adjuster. Anyway, so I'm going to clean everything up. There are a couple of different ways of doing this. Some people like to soak their carburetors. I always feel like I can't get all the tiny little pieces out of there, particularly anything made out of rubber. So normally I don't do that. Normally I just spray carburetor cleaner through everything, you know, buff these off with a rag and then spray carburetor cleaner through it. Run wire, flexible wire, you know, take a couple of filaments of the flexible wire and run that through it. That's the way I do it. Different people do it different ways. I have a certain amount of success. This really cannot be adjusted. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do with that. Yeah, it just this is also supposed to have a little spring thing going on here. I'm going to have to spray that and try to loosen it up. Maybe it's not popped out all the way. That would account for it not sealing properly. So anyway, let's clean this rig up and see if it comes back to life. If not, I really hate to do it because it's got an OEM carburetor on it. We might have to move toward an OEM or to a aftermarket. So looks like I got that little plunger thing here freed up, and I don't think it was going all the way up. I think it was hung up part way down. So hopefully that fixes the flooding, because it's this carburetor, that float is not adjustable. If it continues to flood, probably what I'm going to do is go through the horde of carburetors and maybe steal one that has a little metal tab on it that I could bend. You can see this is solid here. I can't bend that. I mean, I guess I could heat it up a little bit and push it down. I don't know. I don't find those kind of things go very well. The jets. This one, the main jet wasn't bad, but the idle, the center one, I actually had to use a pin vise and kind of drill it out. This will probably be kind of a little bit of a rich carburetor from now on. I could probably take care of some of that with the idle mixture. It was opened up 1.5. I'll probably open it up 1 turn, right, 2 half turns. And anyway, what's left? I'm going to just hit it with carburetor cleaner. Make sure this is clean, you know, a Q-tip, right? And put it all back together again. We'll smash it on and hopefully we could get a ride. So the carburetor is back on, and you guys could see I put some gas in it. And if you kind of crawl down here, see this hose? That hose right here is the overflow out of the carburetor. And I don't seem to be leaking any gas. So I checked the oil. I always mention that because a lot of times you're working on an all-terrain vehicle that you haven't touched in a while, and it's like, oh man, I seized. What happened? Well, you didn't check the oil, silly. All right, so let me set up the camera. We'll give this thing a couple of rips. Hopefully she fires right up. Okay, I'm going to have to adjust the idle up a little bit, and I'm going to go get the GoPro so we could take it out for a ride. You could see even with the choke off, she's running a little bit rich. And remember I told you I had to drill out that idle. I could probably turn down the idle mixture a little bit too, see if that helps. So anyway, I'm going to do those things, and then we'll get out for a little ride. Okay, let's do this. So we got a downshift pattern, and I was just making sure the clutch was loose. That way it doesn't bang the gears. What you do is you push it down, and you hold it, you give it a little bit of gas. That breaks it loose. Yeah, she's perky. When I used to race these things with friends, if we were going straight line, I preferred the downshift pattern. You would push it down and you would hold it, gun up, and when you came off the line, you could get yourself a wheelie. If I was doing oval track with them, then I preferred an upshift pattern. Because then you could wind it up. When you had to slow down for the turns, right, you would step on it, which is a downshift. Down it up, get it into the turn, let go, and you were able to break it loose and slide it around. Back then I weighed quite a bit less than I weigh now. Let's do the upper trail. See what's going on out here. And we're sliding. So, some ancient history. Well, at least the bike's still around. You can hear it's still running rich, right? That pop, pop, pop. There's two reasons for that. Reason number one, I drilled out that idle. I couldn't get a stiff wire through it, so I had to drill it. That's first. Yeah, she just, right. Oh, boy, that's a lot of gas to go through. I got something else going on. I'm probably going to pull this carburetor off again. I have a bunch of junk carburetors floating around, so I'll try to find something that's in a little better shape. I should have known it was running out of gas. Normally they start getting racy when they do that. Once again, the problem is the float is too high. So I got to see if I can't find something that'll go in there that adjusts, get that down a little lower. And I messed up that idle jet by drilling out the hole too big. So I'll replace that. And between those two things, this thing should be a real sweet machine for donut time. Should we ever get snow again? We're supposed to see temperatures could be as high as 60 for the weekend. I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but I'm not sure. I'm seeing insects outside. You know, you turn over a board or occasionally something kind of flaps by. It's almost 50 today. Weather report, right? Like you guys all need it. Let's see, the New Year's video, just quickly. What I normally like to do for New Year's is do a quick review of everything I bought for the year, the mega deals and not. And then I could kind of compare to how many I bought last year. For 2023, I'd actually like to move toward perhaps a little less accumulation. And some of you guys mention that regularly, that I have enough stuff. But perhaps move away from accumulation and perhaps move a little bit more toward finishing a few of these projects. I truly am running out of space. And you guys know, anybody who works on these things, that when you take one of these things apart, it takes up 10 times more space than when it's all in one piece. And what do I mean by that? If you take an all-terrain vehicle and you pop off the plastic, and then you disassemble the engine and put it into a box, now you got the plastic, the all-terrain vehicle, and a disassembled engine in a box. And sometimes, in my case, one step worse, then I have a box of eBay parts or a box of parts that I hunted up and put aside. And now I got 4 items taking up a tremendous amount of space. So I have to get a little better about not having that. So I do want to assemble some of these. Also, I'm not really finding any great deals. I don't know if you guys are finding better deals out by where you are. Where I am here in the Hudson Valley, down around Fishkill, I'm just not seeing the deals. I mean, every once in a while, I mean, people are asking over $1,000 for some of the China stuff that needs work. And that's a crazy number. That just doesn't work. Even somebody has a big red right now on Facebook for the Hudson Valley for $1,500, and it doesn't. The front plastic looks like heck, and the back plastic is missing. The seat doesn't look very good. The exhaust doesn't look very good, and they're after $1,500 on it. I mean, if that's the case, I could. I could start selling and retire. Anyway, I want to thank you all for dropping by to watch and comment and subscribe. Please remember to keep your feet down, your heads up, and make sure you get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.